Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Christi Silva. Thanks so much for joining us today. I'm Chief Behavioral Health Officer of Fusion Care Group, and I wanted to talk a little bit today about couples and relationships. We're all being extremely tested right now with COVID and trying to figure out how to navigate our relationships and get along better, communicate better. And some of us are being forced to stay inside with all of our loved ones and not having much reprieve or break from each other. And so what it's doing is creating a little bit more conflict within those relationships. So I thought I could give a couple techniques to ease some of the tension. And I basically just brushed upon one of the techniques, and one of the things that keeps healthy relationships is the first thing is I think of everybody as circles or bubbles. We all have our own identity, needs, wants, feelings, things that make us happy, things that we would like to accomplish or do. And so I think it is understanding that we're all unique and we're all individuals. And so when we're all put inside and all of our bubbles come together, we're going to get conflict because not everyone's going to agree. So the first step I want you to think about is realizing that we're all our own individuals with our own needs and wants. And we need to first figure out what makes us happy and identify what makes us happy. And then second, to be able to open up to what other people need within the relationship. And what I mean by that are, there are some people out there that want to have close contact and want to be together all the time. And then there are other people that get antsy and they need to socialize and they want to get out. And so it's trying to figure out what type of person am I, and then who is my partner or my child? What are their needs? Do they like to be social? Do they need to get out? Do they like to kind of hibernate and this is great for them? So it's really having a good understanding of self and others while in the same home. Now comes the second part. So the second part is identifying our needs, their needs, and now how do we respect their needs? And so making sure that we're not projecting our needs and wants onto someone else, and identifying that maybe my partner wants to go take a nap in the afternoon. And how could he take a nap, but maybe my need is to get support with the kids. So how can he take a nap and I get support with the kids? And that brings us to third. So the third is creating win-win in all relationships. And what that means is basically bringing in my needs, the other person's needs, and figuring out how it's not just either or. How do we all get a little bit of what we want? So is it the nap? Is it a break? Is it to socialize? Is it not to socialize? Is it to have support with the bills, have support with parenting, have support in communication? Is it date nights? So it's really having those discussions with our partners about what are the different areas that we actually need ourselves, what are the areas of need for our partner, and then how do we set up some kind of daily or weekly routine where everyone's getting a little bit of what they want. So how I know when things are not going well is that you're going to get conflict, right? And conflict usually means that someone's not being heard, listened to, or getting what they need. So we always go back to the basic. So first is, what are my needs, I, me, and then going back to communicating others' needs. So what are their needs, their desires? And then what we want to do is try and figure out how to communicate, let's do both. I hear you, you hear me, let's go ahead and support each other. So why we're getting a lot of conflict with COVID is that we're all highly anxious, highly stressed. We're all in one location and we're not getting many breaks. And so to some of us, what we might be learning is that, no, maybe I actually need a break from you. And that's okay. That's a healthy part of a relationship, is knowing that sometimes we need a break from each other. I don't think we're meant to be spending 24/7 with each other cooped up in a house, and the expectation that we're not going to go nuts and crazy over that it's not realistic. So I think that part of identifying how much of a break do I need, how much space do I need, and how much possibly does my partner need. And then within this kind of worldview now of what we're going through, how are we going to get that break? So does it mean just going for a drive in the car? Does it mean walking around the neighborhood alone? So figuring out how we can get our space and our break, because I do think that that's part of our own individual needs, is sometimes that we have to just do our own thing and get some little me time. So I want you guys all to kind of evaluate, and I'd love for you guys to do a little technique where draw a circle for yourself. right? That's your own wishes and wants. So what are some of the things that you're lacking lately? Some of the things that you need, some of the things that you desire. If you have a lot of, I don't want this, I don't like this, I just want you to spin it into something positive. So I don't want to be around my husband. It could easily be changed into, I'd like some alone time. I'd like a break occasionally. And so thinking of all the things that frustrate you, spin it to a positive, put it on that little circle, that little bubble of the things that you want and you need. And then I want you to go ahead and draw another circle for your partner or anyone you're in a relationship with, and start to imagine, what do they need? What do they want? What do you think they're looking for? And if you don't know, ask. And I think that we forget to do that in our culture, as we just assume things, and that leads to projecting our own ideas on top of somebody else, which is sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. So if you guys can check in with your partner and say, okay, what are your needs? What is working? How can I support you? And figuring out what their bubble is yearning for. And then what happens is we bring those two things together. So those two circles are now merged, and that's what is the win-win. So a win-win means that two people in a party are working together to support each other. It doesn't mean that everyone's happy all the time. It means everyone feels heard and validated and understood. So for example, let's say I need a nap today and I'm tired. And I tell my husband, I need a nap, I'm tired. And he says, I know you're tired, I can see it, but I have to go take the trash out. Can you wait 30 minutes? Or can you take 15 minutes instead of a 30-minute? I feel like I'm being heard and validated and listened to. And on the flip side, he's also taking care of his needs, which is maybe he needs me to be awake for some reason. And I think the more we practice this and the more we look at solutions to our problems in relationships, rather than just looking at what's not working, we start to bring in a culture of we and togetherness. And yes, I know it's hard and it can be a challenge. However, it's worth it, right? Because when we master this in our relationship, we take this out into the world. And so basically the same premise exists when we go out into the world and we meet our neighbors or strangers or acquaintances, and figuring out, you know what, there seems to be conflict here. What is this conflict about? Instead of putting judgment that I'm doing something wrong or they're doing something wrong, it's more of, there's conflict, what's the solution? What am I not getting? What are they not getting? How can we try and solve this problem? Sometimes we need a little bit of emotional regulation as well. So if you're not able to tackle that goal and it's just not working, sometimes it's okay to kind of walk away and say, you know what, maybe tomorrow will be a better day. I'll be in a better headspace. Maybe I'm just tired and I don't need to kind of work on this win-win right now. I just need to rest or take a break or get some me time. So I just wanted to share a little bit about that, and I will have some more information in a little bit about relationships with children as well and how to create win-win with them. So if you like our channel, please subscribe and follow the information below if you'd like to set up an appointment with one of us over at Fusion Care Group. Thanks so much, and you guys have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye-bye.